Hello, everyone. Let's learn the basics of the process this time. So let's take a look at this first. This is a tile drawing of a piece of clothing. A permutation of each piece. This is the back piece. This is the sleeve. This is the front piece. And then our corresponding position here. You can see that each position like this one is 1 shoulder wide. It's all written down. So let's look at the next graph. Next figure, it's an expansion of one of our clothes. Front piece and back piece, and then this is a stitched figure. The locations of the same color are the suture sites. Like our yellow position. Just sew on the yellow spot. So this yellow with this yellow. And then hits this black. Sew it up on this black shoulder, and then we have this color. So to this position of the color iron. This blue. This purple is stitched with the purple position on top. And then the underclamp of our sleeves. He's on the seam. So this side of the sleeve with this side stitched together. This is our tile diagram. Okay, the next one is our common style categories. We can take a look at the shoulder. Now it's shoulder. Shoulder shape. This. The first one is our most common flat shoulder tuck. The most common flat shoulder tuck is this one. And then the second one is a flat angled shoulder. Flat shoulder style type is. Both front and rear images are oblique. The oblique one we can look at. This one is oblique. This place is oblique. This position. It's a flat cut and a diagonal cut. And what it does is the front slice that looks like this. That's the effect. The back piece is slanted like this. This is a flat oblique shoulder. What about the flat shoulder? Is the first kind. The first one works like this. It's just that he's not that inclined. The front and back of the shoulder are like this. The front and back pictures are like this. This way and then so, the key is stitched against the key. This is our first flat key. This is our rotator cuff. With the rotator cuff we can see this position. This is how it goes in. It goes in and then the sleeve ends. It was stitched to our collar. The one with the collar stitched is a rotator cuff. This belongs to the shoulder of the saddle. We can see the position of the style. It was after the needle was taken in. Then inside and up again. The position goes up and then diagonally in. This is the shoulder of a saddle. And then our sleeves. It's sewn to the collar here. This is also menswear. Often half done. The last one is the more common rotator cuff. Our following rotator cuff is also known as a sling cuff. You can see shoulder width if it's in this position. It fits the chest width is consistent. Maybe a little more shoulder width. Some of them hang down a little bit. It has a wider shoulder width. We can take a look. Next is the category of waist shape. Waist type classification. This is our most common straight pack. You know, the straight one doesn't have a waist. Why is it smaller down there? It shrinks a little because of the ribs. The second type is the one bigger than us and smaller than us. This style is called the waist pin. Then the next one is the more common waist reduction. Tuck a waist in and clip it out. This is because there are more women overdressed. And then the next one is our version categories. The first is a pullover. The second is a cardigan. Cardigans have crew neck cardigans. There are V-neck cardigans. And then the third one has no sleeves. It's a vest. Camisole. This is about us. The version type classification. Take a look at our categories of color types. The color is much more special. Men's wear is actually a little less, but women's wear is especially plentiful. Our color, he has, The first is a round neck. The second type is V-neck. The third is our button-down collar. He's got this button-down half collar. The fourth is our button-down half collar. It's also a button-down collar. Can see? This is also just a menswear word. On the male left, female right division, this is one of our zippers. Zip up cardigan. Zip up cardigan. This is our lapel. Lapels are also called high collars. It's not a turtleneck, it's the lapel. It turns over and it's taller than a turtleneck. I'd say about 15 to 20 centimeters of this. Upturned. This is one of the most common necklines for women. Off the shoulder. And then this one is our self-leader. This is what we have when we lead. The clothes are made to look like this. This is the self-led. This is the one that comes with its own shovel collar. We scoop the collar here. You can see this line. There are two kinds of self-contained collar. One is not shoveling, but this will wrinkle up. One with a spade. This is the one with a needle on it so it's not so wrinkled. But the pattern can't. I can't do the pattern. These go straight up. Upside go, because this spot is empty after you shovel the needle. So there's no way to fill in the pattern. The following is a classification of sleeve types. Sleeve type, we can see the first type is a sleeveless. It's the sleeve that connects to the master. Styles like our 蝙蝠衫 or sleeves. Sleeve is our common flat shoulder. Sloping this shoulder. Sleeve along the sleeve. The third is me. You rotate a cuff. A rotated cuff means the sleeve is sewn to the collar. This is our classification of sleeve shapes. And then the fourth. Let's look at the split sleeve. Classification of this length. The first is the long sleeve sleeve. Its length is in this part of our wrist. The length of this position is our long sleeve. What about our middle sleeves? This is it. His sleeve is right in the middle of us. It's between our wrists. This is our short sleeve. A short sleeve that is slightly shorter than a mid sleeve. Both men's and women's. The short-sleeved ones are 7-point sleeves, 3/4 sleeves for women and women. It's about, like, 7/10 of the entire length of the sleeve. And then the next one is the 3/4 sleeve. 3-point sleeves are extremely short. General dress, it's a little shorter than a short sleeve. These 3/4 sleeves, this is for women's wear. Just by the length of our sleeves. Then what else do we divide into sleeve types? It has lotus sleeves. Under the sleeves are ours. This double ingots double fish collar. The second one is our puffy sleeves. The one with the bigger sleeves. The third is our lantern sleeve. It's got a big cuff here. Throw up this position. Then he sewed the rib. The ribs are made along. They're usually big under the sleeves. And then it creases up when you sew it. It's gonna go up in a big way. These are our lantern sleeves. This is a category analysis of our styles. After I know the style, let's take a look at this piece of clothing. Now, inside the piece, the first one is our chest width. This is the side, this point to our side. This point is the chest width. It's usually measured centimeters under the nail. And then our length is 2. That's the point at the collar that goes under our rib. Here it is, our length. And then we got a wide collar. There are two kinds of it. One with a wide collar, inside collar with 3, that's the point, and that's the width of our collar. Inner collar with 4 is the width of our outer collar. This point goes over here. The customer may give the inside collar width, or maybe it's the outer collar width. We calculate it by the width of the outer collar. So our inner collar is wide. If the customer gives you a value for the width of the inner collar, you have to add to collar heights to make it equal. Our collar is wide on the outside, so when we do the math, it's the collar width at the 4 position. And then our 5, it's the point from this point to this point. It's our shoulder width. This point to this point is sewing, shoulder width. And then our 6 of the 6. And then it goes from this point to this point. It's our sleeve length. 2 sleeves at the neck edge. This is the sleeve length. It looks like we're in a rotated cuff. Our shoulders, it's measured by this collar edge. Insert the rotated cuff inside of the shoulder. So we actually do this flat shoulder tuck. The flat shoulder is this collar edge. Which shoulder point is this? Just to the bottom of our shoulders. To sleeves down here. Here to here to do the sleeve length. So pay attention. Pay attention. Okay, and then we have this. Let's see. What is this? It's just that the sleeve width is more important. This position, this point to this point, is a sleeve width. Notice that he didn't draw this well. There is 1. This should be this 13. It should be. So this point to this point is the sleeve width. It goes vertically up here. This position is our sleeve width. 13 sleeve width. This is about these sizes of our sleeves, then on top of our clothes. Some of the waist pieces are ours. Just like our style. See this? This is where we tuck our waists in. It's our 15. He didn't draw his waist in here. It's our mid-waist width. This is called mid-waist width. This bottom here, usually 2 or 3 centimeters less than the chest size. And then this 16 is our hem width. Hem width is generally smaller than bust circumference. Because he has ribs, he will shrink. But his opening is consistent with his chest width. It should be noted that we usually pack straight. His opening is the same width as his chest. And then what do we call the other width? Call this 23. See this position? This is called the chest width. This is when we're done with our boobs. This position, at this position is our upper chest width. Upper chest breadth. Upper chest breadth. And then these guys now horizontally. Let's look at the vertical. Vertical just separates this point. So here is the elevation. And then we have a mid-waist width here. Middle waist height, waist wide, middle waist wide. It's our waistline, the height from the middle to the top. The height to the top is this 11. See? The height from this point to this point is ours. This point goes to 14 here. It's our Chinese ointment in ointment. It's usually between 36 and 38. The size of this ointment. This is usually the size of us adults. Then we can look at it. And one more thing is the upper chest width. This is the point to this point called chest height. After receiving, from the center to the neck, called the chest height. Sometimes the formula he gives is the height from this point to this point. What do you call a needle in the chest? He makes some clothes. The needle in the chest will add a little. Make better clothes, some of them do. This is about us this. A few sizes of clothes. This size, and the other thing about the sleeves is how wide the sleeves are. Also known as sleeve rib width. 19 sleeve rib height. That's the 18 position. High cuff rib. High cuff rib. Pay attention and we know the dimensions. And then we've got a few more of our sleeves. Dimensions of emphasis is on our clothes. Let's look at the top graph. The sleeves of this dress, it's an arc like this. This arc. This width we have is called our sleeve end width. Everybody knows, in fact, one of its names is Yushanquan. It's the width of the shirt. It's just the top one is the sleeve width. The top position is called the width of the sleeve hole. These widths are not consistent. It has an effect on the shape of the clothes. Then this part is positioned at its highest height. This height is called sleeve heel height. Be careful, it's called sleeve mountain high. These are just two sizes, sleeve height and sleeve width. We'll actually have the height of our sleeve plus half the width of our sleeve. It's about equal to the height of the shoulder. Approximately equal to shoulder height when we were closing. It's this point right here. If I go here, I don't see this marker. Then half the width of the sleeve tail. It's sewn into this position. So into this position, say, the height of our sleeves plus half the width of the sleeves. About equal to the height of the shoulder. About equal to the height of the shoulder. This is about our dress size, this piece. This size says something on it. Chest width is equal to 1 inch to under the nail. It's about 2 centimeters under the nail. This is the right chest width because it creases again. And we have this shoulder. And one of the most important is shoulder size. This point leads to this point. This diagonal beam at the shoulder side is our hanging shoulder. Also called clamping width, also called a shoulder hang. Right here. But when we calculate, it's actually calculated vertically. When we measure it, it's an oblique measure. But when we calculate it, it's vertical. So he was actually doing it. The size of the shoulder, we're going to use this 12. Subtract a little. A little bit less is what we actually hang on to. Actual shoulder. And then our size terms. This is probably one of the effects. The same is true of measurements of the size. And then when we actually made this dress, neck drop front, is equal to the collar edge. See how deep this collar is. The collar depth is the point where the front collar depth is. To this point, vertical to hands this height. This too is our front collar depth. And then our back collar depth is this here. This point to this point is the height of the back collar depth. Usually the back collar depth is 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters. And then this is where our shoulder bones go. That means the front might go a little bit behind. Actually, he's a little behind. So the front is about 1 centimeter longer. Usually, maybe 1 centimeter more. If he's gone, this is where the shoulder bone goes back. And then we make cardigans. Make a cardigan on this one of ours. From the top to the bottom, our front collar is from this button. The first button is positioned to the height of our vertex. It's our front collar. It's the same collar you use to make cardigans. Pay attention to the front collar. Do the process steps. The step to making this garment is to first do the craft, then do the plate making, copy data, then check the film again, resume plate pick shape. Wash and iron clothes. Package product. We see this as a process. So what process can our overall software do? The previous process can be done. Process plate copy on the machine to do. This is a craft sheet for a dress. There's a lot more about this on the laundry list. There's a lot of information we need to know. The first is our size information. 3 elements of style, 3 elements of making clothes. Size must have, style must have. The style should be analyzed. Then the density must have. There are according to the customer to provide clothing. What kind of yarn will you use to make it? Make small pieces when you get it right. Corresponding yarn, the right yarn to do it. This is doing density. Density is also important. Style classification is also important. What style to use? And then size is also very important. Some size, you have to push it yourself. Sometimes these are called instructions. And then this density, I just have to go get it myself, or a client gave it to you. But very few, you basically take the density yourself. Find the right yarn for your suit. To do the corresponding tightness density. This is a small piece. It's small because we make a dress. We have to try out the small pieces first. The same tissue as the clothes. Try out to make clothes. So this compares the density of small pieces. The whole process of the clothes. What is it divided into? Divided into this. Our customer size. There is the customer volume. And then there's the whole process in a factory. I can't see that. Our next one. Then we size this customer. Customer size. Let's take a look at one. The dimensions of this factory. Factory dimensions are written according to factory instructions. Empty customer. We see this quantity. If we were doing a custom one, it's the measurement of clothes. Here is a measure of body length. A measure of body length. And this bust size of ours is. There was a measure of chest size, and now shoulder width measure. And the sleeve length measure. And then we're inside this factory. It's the factory instructions to write the process. Write the process according to the factory instructions. We'll give you sample clothes to write craft. These are the sample list of this factory. He'll give you some styles on the factory sample list. Give you some small size. And then ask you to give you this to make of what material. Let you go to the corresponding material. Choose the right materials to do it. Here are some of our references. So let's look at one way to do this. A density value of a small piece is a small piece. We need to know what parameters. The density of the pieces is critical. Whether the effect of a piece of clothing is appropriate. It's all about the density and the bulk. How big do we have to make small pieces? Generally 20 centimeters wide. The height is also 20 meters high. It's about right or left, anyway. That's the way it works out. And then we usually get 200 pm. The number of stitches is different according to the different stitch type. Unlike us, as big as possible but not too big. But not too big. The bigger, the more accurate. So what do we mean by horizontal? Horizontal is an inch. Or a 1 centimeter piece of plain cloth. The number of needles contained. The unit is how many pointers per centimeter. How many inches per centimeter? How many pointers per inch or how many pointers per centimeter? In the software it's 10 centimeters. We're using 10 centimeters for software. So you multiply that by 10. And then this is indents. The straight one is 1 centimeter long. The number of revolutions contained on the flat cloth sheet. What are the units in centimeters? How many revolutions a centimeter? How many revolutions a centimeter? In the software, it's about 10 centimeters. All you have to do is multiply it by 10. Then with small pieces. What densities are we going to extract? What is the lateral with the size of one of our small pieces? Longitudinal body revolution dimensions. We need to extract it. And then there's this ribbed one. Ribbed is straight to size. And then our algorithm, loud and straight. The algorithm is based on the number of revolutions of the body. Here we say 80 ppm. Divided by longitudinal dimension. So we measure out 27 centimeters. So let's divide by 27 centimeters. I have to figure out how many centimeters it is. 2096, and then we multiply that by 10 to get 10 centimeters. It's 29.6 ppm. That's what we call a circle. And then our cross. Let's divide it by this horizontal dimension. It's equal to its transverse density. But we're going to multiply that by 10. So after you multiply it by 10, you can see the results. Then the rib is straight and dense. Why is the horizontal density of rib not horizontal? It is generally. It is consistent with loud horizontal tightness, except for the shrinking needle. If there is a shrinkage of the needle, must be recalculated transverse density. So generally, we do not shrink the rib needle. It's just like a loud needle opening. So you don't have to count the horizontal density. Then even if the rib is straight, take the revolution of the rib and divide it by the size of the rib. Speed is height. It's like a straight rib. Multiply it by another 10. That's 10 meters or so. Just write it. So now the density is out of the equation. We can just go to the software. Calculate in the software. Of course it's in the software. Here you turn the number of these books into these dimensions. You do the math. There is also can. It's what we do in small pieces. This is a density reference for our cashmere. This is our an interface of software. Interface is ground above us. The interface is our What about the toolbar? Up there's the toolbar row. See? And then on the left is our size chart. Master size table. The table to the right of the size table. This table on the far right is the actual table of our individual pieces. It's just a size chart for each piece. A size chart for each piece. We are in trend is on. Let's move on. This is our density table. This place right here is our density table. Fill in the density of the lower density. Rib density, color density, double click to fill. Middle position, it's our clothing algorithm. It changes in real time according to your size. Generate the corresponding piece of clothing. This is called a real-time algorithmic molding graph. And then the bottom right corner. Here is a quick place to choose a film. Quick selection. Embroidery film inside the corresponding to choose will do. And then this top left corner here is the shortcut bar. Shortcut bar or shortcut bar. Like save. Save as these. Right here on the top left. And then here are some shortcuts. The top row. The top row is the shortcut tool. This row. Shortcut tool. This is one of our understanding of interface, and then some information about this. We have this guard here. The organization of the grid guards. This also has information on the opening of the rib. Some of the opening stitch information of the rib can be seen. Look at this information, and then this one on our side kind of turns away. Rihanna, this information. What's the mark on the side? This information, and then there's the information about our bottom 0 rating. And our color logo. This is the writing for the color. And then up here is I'll show the counterpoint left the needle. Show the counterpoint remaining needle. This is the total revolution, the total number of revolutions of this guard. And then we have this. One of the stitching marks at the end of the sleeve. Pick hole 25 VV. It means to pick a hole. 25 volts 2525 plus 2550 plus the middle mark 50 a pin. And then this one over here. Number of pins in residence. This is stopping the needle. We call it stopping the needle. Stay is stop pin message. This is the number of revolutions we have in each segment. In parentheses is this position, a total number of frames to this position. It writes the number of frames in each position. This is what we have. Information software information. This is one of our software. Some basic knowledge. Thanks for watching.